Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the podcast to learn English with Lily's Language School. Today, I have a simple question, but one that can divide the crowd. Do you like surprise parties? Because honestly, I have a pretty strong opinion on the subject, and I'm going to explain why. First, let's put things in context. What is a surprise party exactly? It's a party that's organized without telling the person it's for. In general, it's supposed to be a joyful moment, something full of emotions, friends, family, balloons, and cake. And we always hear the same story. You'll see she's going to be so touched, he'll cry tears of joy, he's going to be thrilled, he won't see it coming at all. Yeah, on paper that's cute, but in real life it's not always that simple. Let me tell you right now, I get the idea. I totally understand the intention. And when you're a kid, honestly, it's super sweet. You walk into a room and everyone yells, "Surprise!" There are candies everywhere. You're running around with your friends. You don't even know where to look first. You're 8 years old, wearing a unicorn t shirt. You don't care if your hair's a mess or not. It's a party. You're happy. But at 25, a surprise party doesn't quite have the same vibe. The energy is just not the same anymore. First off, there's a real issue of logistical consent, let's call it, because by definition, a surprise party is something you haven't planned for. So you might walk into one at a moment when you really don't feel like it. Like maybe you've had an awful day at work, you've got dark circles down to your chin, all you want is to go home, put on your fluffy pajamas, and eat ravioli in front of Netflix, and then bam, you open the door. Surprise! And you're supposed to pretend you're thrilled. Actually, that reminds me of my 19th birthday. I was a student at the time, completely overwhelmed with final exams and totally exhausted. I had told my friends I wasn't really in the mood to celebrate, I just needed sleep. But they went ahead and planned a surprise party anyway. I came home thinking I was going to nap for 2 hours, and I found 20 people crammed into my tiny studio shouting, "Surprise!" The worst part? I was in leggings with greasy hair, holding a bag of frozen dumplings. I tried to smile and be polite, but inside, I just wanted to crawl under a blanket and cry. It wasn't their fault. They meant well, but I remember feeling so trapped. Now, of course, there are people who love that. I'm not judging them. If you're the super social type who loves being the center of attention, who enjoys having things planned for you, that's amazing. But me, I'm more the type who likes to have a bit of control over what's happening in my life. I like knowing what I'm going to do, with whom, at what time, and in what emotional state. And above all, I like to prepare. Like really, both physically and mentally. There's also something kind of awkward about it sometimes. You walk into a room, everyone's staring at you, everyone's waiting for your reaction. You're supposed to be moved, to smile, say thank you, hug everyone. And if you freeze up or if you say something like, "I didn't really feel like seeing people tonight," suddenly you're the ungrateful one. It's a total trap, actually. It's practically a social ambush, this kind of thing. And let's talk about surprise parties at work, shall we? That's a whole other level. Like office birthdays. Someone brings in a cake, everyone crowds around the person's desk, there are balloons, decorated post-its, and sometimes, bam, a mini surprise party in the break room. Supposedly it's meant to lighten the mood, I know. But it stresses me out more than anything. You've got coworkers you barely know singing happy birthday. You don't know where to put yourself. You have to smile at everyone when all you wanted was to finish your Excel sheet in peace. It's awkward. Honestly, it's really awkward. It actually happened to me once when I was 24. I had just started a new job and didn't really know anyone yet. I was still learning names and trying not to look too lost in meetings. On my birthday, I thought I was going to have a normal lunch break, but when I walked into the kitchen, everyone was there with cupcakes and plastic cups of juice, shouting "Happy Birthday" in unison. I froze. I didn't know what to say. I awkwardly smiled, blew out the candle, and spent the next 10 minutes trying to make small talk with people I hadn't even properly met. It wasn't awful, but I felt like a kid at summer camp, totally out of place. And then I also think there's something a bit infantilizing about it. A surprise party is often something you do for kids or for very expressive people. But for adults who have lives, complex emotions, moments of exhaustion, anxiety, or who just need space, it can be a lot. It's like you're being forced to be happy about something you never asked for. Again, I'm not saying it's always a bad idea. Sometimes it can be genuinely touching. There are surprise parties that are really well thought out, where people really consider what the person likes, where it's low key, well organized, and not overwhelming. And in that case, okay, sure, why not? But you really need to know the person for it to work. You need to know if they like surprises, if they enjoy being surrounded by people, if they're okay with having an event revolve around them. Me, for example, I much prefer it if someone just says, hey, we're thinking of having a little party for your birthday. Are you free that day? You see? I get a heads up, I pick an outfit, I do my makeup, I plan things, and then I can actually enjoy it. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm being dragged into a show where I'm the lead actress against my will. And I'll admit something else. There's also the little stress of the surprise going wrong, like the person not arriving at the expected time, people waiting in the dark for 45 minutes, the cake melting, guests getting bored, or worse, the person finds out about the surprise too early. And then, total flop. You put all your energy into organizing this magical moment, and in the end, it's just one big awkward situation. So, yeah, surprise parties just aren't my thing. I understand the idea, I admire the thought, I respect the people who love them. But personally, I prefer things that are simple, announced, shared. Good moments can be created together with two people, 10, 20, without necessarily putting on a suspense filled performance. So let me ask you again, do you like surprise parties? And more importantly, have you ever had a surprise party that totally flopped or one that was unforgettable? Write to me. I want to read all about it for a future episode. And until then, no bad surprises, I promise. Thanks for listening and see you soon for a new episode where I might complain again or not. All right, bye.